tonight, as we also look at a whole range of new medical technology that's being used in the treatment of heart disease. We'll talk with a leading cardiologist, with a specialist in medical ethics, and with a man who received a human heart transplant nearly 2 years ago. And we'll look ahead at some anticipated firings tomorrow at the EPA.
This is ABC News Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
Good evening. In every major field of human endeavor, there are pioneers, those who build the machines and those who use them, the travelers who take that first perilous journey that ultimately makes it easier for all those who follow. Barney Clark was a pioneer in that mold, and his journey of 112 days on a heart machine was, perhaps most important of all, a learning experience for the doctors who implanted the artificial heart in his chest. Just what has been learned and whether it will make such operations more or less likely in the future is what we will discuss tonight. Actually, we began covering this story more than 2 years ago in February of 1981, at a time when the artificial heart was still being tested in a calf named Alfred Lord Tennyson by a young doctor named Robert Jarvik.
What we are doing now is working towards a beginning. The first implant of an artificial heart in a human in this decade. The device that we will use now, seen here, a Jarvik 7 heart, could be capable of sustaining a patient for 2 years or more. But we do not know what to expect, and the animal is an imperfect model. In the first uses in humans, it will extend the patient's life expectancy, 500,000% or whatever. I mean, you're going to take a patient whose life expectancy is certainly 0, a patient on a heart-lung machine who is definitely going to die. And they're going to have hope, they're going to have a chance.
It was really an interesting thing happened last night. The team that had been prepared for literally 3 or 4 years from the University of Utah took a patient that probably would have been dead at midnight and took him up to the operating room and removed his heart and placed a mechanical heart in his chest, and it was a really almost a spiritual experience with everybody in the room. They see him this morning nod his head, recognize his wife, move his hands, his feet, say that he wasn't in pain.
Both hands on his chest like this, and then he went like this, and I said, "Oh, you're trying to tell us you love us?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "I'm so thankful, because I thought since you had an artificial heart, you might not still love us."
Within minutes thereafter, he had a generalized seizure, which is essentially involuntary muscle contractions. It resolved, and then it was followed by focal seizures.
I'm so grateful that we still have him with us. And this is one more Christmas at least that we'll have together, and we're praying that we'll have many more.
Do you remember what this whole thing's been like? Got any words of advice for somebody that was going through this again? If they were to come and sit and ask you what it was like, what would you tell them?
Well, I'd tell them that it's worth it. It's an alternative. They either die or they have it done.
It's been hard for you, hasn't it, at times, Barney?
Yes, it's been hard, but the heart itself is pumped right along. All I know, it's been a pleasure to be able to help people. And maybe you folks learn something.
Joining us live now from the University of Utah Medical Center in Salt Lake City is ABC News correspondent George